We all know that when a game has had a bad launch or just downgrades itself into something horrible, the best course of action is to make it better, obviously. It may not seem like a hard concept, but we do live in the era of ship it now, fix it later, and the chances of you getting a feature complete or even fully fledged working game at launch is that of being struck by a meteorite. But one thing that I will give Starbreeze is that they're actually going out of their way to fix the downfall of their game. Unlike a certain company. At this point, you know I'm talking about Payday 3. This lovely little sequel has succeeded at being an absolute flop, and so much so that there are more people currently playing the second installment of Payday than the third one by almost 60 times its player count. But hey, don't worry though. The devs have come out with an operation to save this game from itself, and I want to go over that with you today. If you want to check it out for yourself, I'll be leaving the links down below. Let's dive into it. Looking at this roadmap, there is a lot here, surprisingly enough. Not too long ago, they put out something on X where they wanted the community to tell them what they wanted, and I don't remember what I put in there, but there were a lot of good suggestions, and most of them made it in. Kicking things off, let's talk about the solo mode and offline mode. They give a PR statement pretty much saying that it's clear to them that the community wants to play the game reliably and on their own terms. No shit. Then they give the following statement. Firstly, we will be developing a standalone solo mode you can get into without going through the matchmaking flow. This will be a local game on your own machine, thereby circumventing the need to connect to a server. They then say that this is going to be rolled out into two different phases. The first phase will still require an internet connection to their backend for progression, unlocks, etc. Phase 2 will look to improve solo mode without requiring an internet connection. We don't know when, but we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, this is planned for 2024, so this could show up literally like December 31st. Moving on to stability, matchmaking, and server browser, they fully admit here that their matchmaking isn't doing good at keeping people together. And again, no shit. They say that they have a number of social and cooperative features planned for 2024, but they don't give specifics. And at the end of the second paragraph, they do say how they're looking to bring back a CrimeNet style server browser, which is good. You know, and one thing that I've seen a lot of people say is, well, what's the point? There's not that many heists. Well, there weren't a lot of heists in Payday 2 and they still had a CrimeNet. So I don't really get that argument personally. Next is challenge-based progression. Starbreeze talks about how their challenge-based progression didn't achieve the goals they intended, and because of that, they're doing away with the system. Thankfully, in its place, you're going to get infamy for completing heist, just like in Payday 2. Now with the existing challenges framework, it will be repurposed to give cosmetic rewards for hardcore accomplishments instead, which I think is infinitely better than what is happening right now. I want it to be known to any dev out there that plans on making a game where progression is tied to challenges, don't. Okay, Halo Infinite tried and it failed. This game tried it and it failed. For the UI revamp, they pretty much just say that they're going to make it more intuitive, include a simplified friends menu, and make a better menu UI that better communicates the heisting theme. I don't know what any of that means personally, but hey, we'll just have to see. But it's time for the two topics that are the highest of the highlights in my opinion: new content and DLC pricing. For new content, they say there are 3 more DLCs they plan to launch in 2024 alongside another free heist, skill lines, cosmetics, a free LMG primary, and more. As for the DLC pricing, all they really say is that they're rethinking their pricing on upcoming DLCs, and that's really it. Now, we all should know that Payday's first paid DLC syntax error was horribly received, right? With the bundle that consisted of 1/3 gameplay and 2/3 cosmetics, costing at a whopping $18 USD. But if you didn't care about the cosmetics and you just wanted the heist, it was still $10. And at the time where the game was arterially bleeding players fast, this was the most tone-deaf bullshit Starbreeze could have done. Hey guys, I got a way to get you back into the game. We have this new heist and it's gonna cost $10. Yeah, no, that was the worst thing y'all could have done, hands down. Now, what I'm hoping for personally is that they go the Payday 2 route and make their DLCs like $5 or something. Now, unless it's like a multi-day heist, I understand, but I don't see these needing to cost more than $5. And I think that's really about it I want to touch on when it comes to the Operation Medic Bag roadmap. The last 3 things were about the store that isn't being talked about again until 2025, which is weird for them to bring up in the first place. Them reallocating resources back into Payday 3 from the UE5 update, and a list of goals that they have planned for this summer that include things like Quick Play V1, Vote Kick, and Unready button, which I'm still surprised wasn't in the game already. and many more features. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll leave a link down below if y'all are interested in reading over the whole thing for yourself. But for my final thoughts, I'm feeling two different ways about this. On one hand, I'm happy that Starbreeze is actually listening to us and isn't ignoring what we're wanting out of a Payday game. Seeing them rethink their strategies for delivering content, delivering features, etc., it's nice and something that should be acknowledged. But on the other hand, they're not really doing anything new. I mean, the single player offline mode was a launch feature 10 years ago. To my understanding, the progression was never an issue in other Payday games, but all of a sudden it's like Starbreeze forgot what a good progression system was. And all these other things like CrimeNet, an unready button, and even something as mundane as DLC pricing shouldn't be things that a company has to sit down and talk about with their community to get right. Especially if they did all these things right before for the most part. I know that last thing might be subjective because there are people that think that all DLCs should be free, but we can at least agree that everything else is pretty damn clear. As far as my personal experiences with Payday 3 go to this day, I've looked at it as a game that exists, right? I try to give it chance after chance after chance, and I just don't really like it. I try to play it here and there, but it feels as shallow as a puppy's piss puddle. I also still have really bad performance with this game, like I'll still get like frame dips and hitching, and it's not a fun time. I really do hope that this operation will transform Payday 3 into a game that'll feel like a true successor to Payday 2. Even then, that's a tall ladder to climb, and one that Starbreeze is unfortunately going to have to climb. This is truly their last chance, in my opinion, to do anything good with the game before it becomes a piece of abandonware. But not by them, but by the community. Now I turn the mic to you. Let me know down below what you think about Payday 3. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button and patch that sub button also YouTube can show you my content free of charge. And as always, I want to give a huge shout out to the current members of the channel. Y'all are absolute badasses. Thank you so much. This is Sir Blackout signing off to see how this is going to turn out. And I genuinely fucking hope that it turns out great. Later.